Now, with empowering stories of inspiring women from around the block and around the world, here's Marilyn Russell's Remarkable Women, sponsored by Acme, your favorite local supermarket.
Welcome to the program. Really thrilled to present my next guest, Francesca Santacroce. Don't say it 3 times fast. It's impossible. A lovely young lady who, in spite of all the trials and tribulations of COVID-19, actually opened her own business. So, and it's perfect timing because right now we're all feeling a little bit stressed. So meet Francesca from Serenity Behavioral Health. She's a marriage and family therapist. Hi, Francesca. How are you?
Hi, Marilyn. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. I mean, in spite of all that 2020 is throwing at us, we seem to be getting it done. I don't know if that's a testament to Philly, like we don't really stop. We just keep going. And you're a Philly girl and you kept going and opened up your own business. Take us through the decision process there.
Yeah, 2020 has definitely been an interesting year, especially for me. It's been a really big year of growth, but I guess I'd have to take you back to September of last year. I was really in a place questioning what I was going to do next with my life, my career. And, I had this idea of starting a program for teens and young adults and their families for almost as long as I can remember. I actually, as a teen myself, had gone to this amazing therapy program. So I really have always wanted to create a space for teens and families to connect. But it was always just this idea or something that I was going to do later in life. So last year I was talking to my mom about what I was going to do next, and it was still just something I was going to do later. And she had stopped me and she had said, well, why aren't you doing this? Why not now? And I stopped and I thought, well, why not now? And it was really in that moment that I decided that I was going to go for it. So I started taking these small steps to see if it was possible. And I ended up falling in love with a property that was for sale when I was looking for rental space in December. And I decided to take my savings for my first home, and I put the offer in, and I was going to go for it, and I was going to buy this building. And then COVID happened. We were actually set to close in March. So about a week before I was about to close, everything started to shut down, and I was really questioning, am I really going to do this in the middle of a pandemic? And I decided that, it had taken me so many years to finally commit to this dream that I had that, I wasn't ready to give it up. And I decided that I was just going to go for it, and that, these services are so needed, especially for teens and young adults. And I really wanted to make it happen because for so long, I think I had let fear get in the way, fear of the commitment, fear of the financial aspect, fear of the hard work. And I had finally found myself in a place where I was ready to go for it. So I did. Thinking back, I think I actually probably signed that paperwork almost to force myself to keep going because I didn't want to let fear stop me again. So, it was the absolute best and scariest decision that I've ever made in my life. But I am so grateful that I did it because, we're here now. We are able to offer these awesome services to teens and young adults. And I'm just so thrilled to be, a part of the treatment community. I'm thrilled to be in Havertown and really to be able to offer this. And, there's a little bit of me in every aspect of the business, all the way down to the logo I created while quarantined. So, I'm just so excited. And, it's really taught me that, your dream is possible. And I just want to tell everybody out there, if you have a dream, just start taking those steps. And, don't let fear get in the way, and your dream can become a reality like it did for me.
Francesca, I can't tell you how much I love this story. I mean, So many people let fear hold them back. And it's like Martin Luther King always said, you don't need to climb the whole staircase. Just take that first step. And you did. My guest is Francesca Santacroce. As you can hear, it was a little scary, but she got it done. Her new place is Serenity Behavioral Health in Havertown. Now, let's go back to your qualifications. How did you become a marriage and family therapist?
Like I had said before, I was in therapy when I was a teen, and I had this amazing therapist who really changed my life. I mean, it had such a huge impact, and she actually inspired me to and encouraged me to take a psychology class. And that first class I took, I fell in love with it. I mean, I knew it was what I was meant to do. So, I continued to pursue that. And then, when I got to grad school, we had the choice to either do family therapy or individual therapy. And really, it's just a different learning experience. So the marriage and family therapy piece came from, they really take a systemic approach to treatment. So rather than treating just the individual, you look at all areas of a person's life, and you work with the family, you work with community providers, and I just fell in love with that model of therapy. So that's what I went for.
Right. I saw on your website, a lot of it's about mindfulness. I don't even really know what cognitive behavioral therapy means. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so cognitive behavioral therapy, you're really looking at your thoughts, feelings, and actions. And, and I also incorporate mindfulness in that as well, and just becoming mindful. What are my thoughts and my feelings, and how are they impacting my actions? And, with CBT, I guess a more simple example would be, you had these automatic thoughts. So, you'll be out in the world and something will happen and you'll automatically think, well, I'm not good enough, or you'll overgeneralize or catastrophize and say, in a particular situation, this always happens to me, or, this is going to be a horrible experience. So it's really recognizing what those automatic thoughts are, how they're making you feel, and then once you become aware of them, trying to then change those thinking patterns and changing your behaviors as well.
Voices in the back of our head, and we all hear those. Now, of course, when you're a teen or a young adult, those voices can be much louder, I'm sure, and much more difficult to grasp. 2020 has, I would imagine, not been such a great year for people who are already wrestling with doubt and fear, and just not being able to pull themselves. My anxiety is through the roof, Francesca. So what are some of the things we're doing to cope with that this year in particular?
So I think for this year, especially with our kids, we've definitely seen an increase in anxiety and depression. And one of the things that we've noticed at Serenity is social media has a big part in that. Kids have really found themselves online more engaged in social media, and that's also increased their anxiety. So I think in general, one of my suggestions is trying to take the time to really unplug, and just being present with yourself and being mindful of your thoughts and your emotions and what's going on with you, and trying to engage in self-care activities, read a book, take a walk, and really just kind of focus on you and making sure that you're okay with yourself. And with that social media thing, I mean, that can be really difficult for our teens. And we actually just collaborated with Child Guidance Resource Centers and did a talk with them on the impacts of social media and ways that kids and parents can cope with it. You can actually check it out on our website at youthserenity.com. We just put up a blog post.
I would recommend people, checking out your blog for sure, especially parents. What do you say to parents who suspect that maybe their teens are reaching for a way to shut it down and help them move forward? We all know so many parents who have been dealing with, really drug abuse and alcohol. I didn't realize my kid turned straight edge because when he was 15, they all got really wasted one night. And I'm like, la, 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 and I had no idea. So what do you tell parents to look for?
I think some signs would be just look for changes in behavior. So either isolation or losing interest in activities that they've been interested for a long time, difficulties at school, changes in friend group, and really just trying to open up the lines of communication with their kids and talking to them and asking them, what's going on. And sometimes it's beneficial to share some of their struggles, especially with everything going on now. Like, it's okay for parents to say, hey, I'm struggling too. I'm feeling anxious as well, to get those lines of communication open. And my number one recommendation would be to, if you're struggling, reach out for support. And remember, it's okay to not be okay. Talk to a friend, talk to a parent, ask for help, call me at Serenity and I can help, or check out the resources we have on our website. But, unfortunately, at times there is that stigma with mental health and substance use. But it's very important to remember to just ask for help. Don't be afraid to go to therapy. I'm proof that therapy works. I'm that kid who needed help, and my parents are those parents that needed support. And, I remember my mom was even a little bit concerned about reaching out. She wasn't sure what other people were going to think or if it was going to work, but she did. And it made all the difference in my life. I mean, if I didn't go to therapy when I was a kid, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I wouldn't have this awesome program, so just people are there to help, and it is possible to be happy and to make the changes that you want to live a life that's happy, joyous, and free.
Do you remember when you were a kid feeling resistance to that? Or were you like, something's not right, I'm ready to pursue figuring this out? I mean, as a kid, it takes me a little bit longer to remember far back because I'm older than you, but I remember thinking, there's nothing wrong, whatever, It just maybe was a different time. We didn't have all these comparisons on social media and everyone's life looks so fantastic. But I'm wondering, do you remember feeling like, I don't need that, I'm fine?
For me, I was totally resistant to it at first. At the time we were experiencing a little bit of increase in family conflict. So things were pretty difficult. But as far as going to therapy, nope, I was fine. I didn't need to go. But I will say that once I got there and actually found a therapist that I really connected with, because it did take a couple of therapists, I loved it. I recognized that I really did need the help. I enjoyed having somebody that I could just go talk to, that it was just between me and them. My parents weren't going to know exactly what I was saying. My friends weren't going to know. I was able to really, develop a therapeutic relationship with that person and, share what was going on. And the peer aspect of it as well had a huge, huge impact on me. Like, being in a place where I was with other kids who was going through what I was going through, and being able to connect and get support from them was, had a really big impact on my life. And, therapy can be really hard work, but it can also be fun if you can find some peers that are going in a positive direction with you. It gives you a different outlook on your social life as well.
And I remember, Francesca, my son, it being difficult for him because his friend circle really shrunk, like he didn't want to hang out with all the partiers. And so he had limited options. And, that's such a difficult transition for kids. And, it really is great that we've got places like Serenity Behavioral Health to reach out to and help get these kids through. That peer support, I'm sure, cannot be underestimated. That must be, a critical component. Is that something that Serenity offers?
Absolutely. When I started it, I was trying to figure out, okay, well, how can I, they connect naturally when they come to group. Most of the time, but I was like, how can I kind of help support this a little bit more? So one of the things that we do is each month we'll ask a group member to volunteer to organize an activity outside of therapy. So it could be something as simple as, logging on together to go to a virtual meeting, grabbing a cup of coffee somewhere, going for a hike. So we really want to, one, it helps teach them those social skills. And two, it helps them stay connected outside of here. So, they can have fun things to go do with peers who are also making those positive changes and going in a positive direction in their life.
And, I guess the dialogue between now family and their children is such an important component. Francesca Santacroce is my guest from Serenity Behavioral Health, marriage and family therapist. Obviously, patient, confidentiality. We can't share real-time stories, but parents I've seen pull their hair like right out of their heads. Like, what can I do? How can I get through this? Let's say at home, someone's listening and they're dealing with this right now. What's the first step for a parent?
I think for parents, if the first step would be reaching out. So whether it's reaching out to another parent to kind of share their experience, or reaching out to a place like Serenity, reaching out and getting that support. One of the things that we actually offer at Serenity is a parent support group. So parents can come in and connect with other parents who are going through similar experiences, share their experiences, their struggles, their challenges, and really just recognize that they're not alone in this. So they can connect with each other, and they can also get guidance and support from myself or Caitlin Harkins, who is our primary therapist, who's just fantastic. So I would say just really reaching out and getting support. There's also parents have kids who are struggling with substance use. There's also Al-Anon meetings. There's Nar-Anon meetings from the 12-step programs. There are NAMI support groups, which is the Mental Health Alliance in the area. So we have a bunch of those resources actually listed on their website that they could check out as well.
I'm thrilled to share you, because I think right now a lot of stuff is exacerbated because 2020 has been insanely stressful. So thanks, Francesca Santacroce, for taking time out of your day to share some of the ways parents can cope and the ways some, kids can cope. Hit up Serenity Behavioral Health. We'll put the link right out from WOGL.com. And we'd like to help. I know that there's probably not large gatherings now because of social distancing, but at some point, when there is, we'd like to give you a $50 Acme gift card to have some snacks on hand. Is that okay?
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. The kids will love that.
I mean, that's what's getting me through 2020. Over here snacking up a storm.
Absolutely.
Well, it's really great to talk with you. And I have to say, you got that Philly Rocky spirit, like you got knocked down, but you got right back up again. And 2020 tossed you a lot of curveballs, but you still managed to open a business in the year of COVID. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to be here.
Join us again next Sunday morning for more inspiring and empowering stories with Marilyn Russell's Remarkable Women. Sponsored by Acme, your favorite local supermarket.